All right, ready to go? What's up, Iz? How you doing?
Yes. How's it going, Kev? Long time no see.
Long time no see. Long time no see. So Isaiah, I call him Izzy. He's actually a real estate agent out in London, and he's been out there for I actually met him in college. We used to play soccer or football together back in 2014, 2015. And now we're both look at that. Real estate has brought us together again, right?
Definitely. No escaping you.
So Iz, I just wanted to see if you can introduce yourself. Obviously, we have spoken a little bit before this, but introduce yourself to the audience so everybody knows who you are and what you do and where do you work.
All right. Well, thank you, Kev. Hello, everyone. My name's Isaiah. Like Kev says, sometimes people call me Izzy. Americans say Isaiah. Call me whatever you like. I'm here to help. But I'm a senior negotiator at Longrad. So we specialize in prime real estate and we're a boutique agency in London.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, what type of real estate do you do? Because obviously, there's a lot of types. What type of real estate do you focus on specifically?
Myself, I specialize on new builds, so it's prime real estate. We specialize in residential and commercial, and we also have some foreign investment opportunities. So one of them is a five-star ski resort in the Balkans. Another is a luxury resort in Crete. So this will be the first mixed-use resort in Europe by a well-known brand, which is one hotel. So you've actually got a one hotel down by Central Park off 6th Ave. So they're a chain and they're
Really?
the ones who will be, they're the ones in charge of this redevelopment, luxury villas in Crete, Greece. We deal with a lot. We have a lot of different opportunities, but me, myself, I mainly focus on prime real estate in London with new builds that are aged, from the last 10 years up until now.
Well, Izzy, I did want to ask you, like, how did you come across becoming, wanting to become an agent? Because, I saw all of a sudden, that you were in real estate and doing well. So, like,
Yeah.
how did you come across becoming into, getting into the business?
Well, I would say I've always been quite a salesperson. I've had quite a few sales roles in my life, and I feel like I could sell ice to an Eskimo. So it was only right to get into the property industry. I've always had a really big passion for property. I think bricks and mortar is the safest asset. There's no escaping it. Everyone needs a roof over their heads. You're always going to have clients. And I basically had previous contacts in my network, and they saw I was previously working at Barclays, so Barclays Bank, and then they kind of headhunted me. They said, "Look, we've got this opportunity for you. I think you'll be perfect." And then I fell in love with the role, started excelling, and now we're here. And I'm talking to the big man.
The beautiful thing about real estate is that this what we're doing right now, this is work because we're creating content and we're actually helping out people that if anybody wants to invest from the US to London or vice versa, like, we can help them out. That's the beauty about this business. But
Yeah,
so is let me ask you, so what areas do you specifically focus on? And you're in London, correct?
yeah, that's correct. So I'm in London. I specialize in basically all areas of London. I've got good market knowledge of all the new builds, new projects, regeneration plans, transportation. It basically comes down to the client. Whatever the client needs, we tailor our searches to their needs. So if they tell me they work in a certain area, they have a certain budget, they don't want no noisy neighbors, they don't want to be on the ground floor. We've got all the options available for them. So yeah.
Is there a specific price range that you focus on or not really?
Yeah, I'd say when it comes to new builds, so because we're a boutique agency, we're dealing with higher budgets. I'd say it ranges from 1 to 50 million, I would say, when it comes to residential and commercial opportunities. We deal with some smaller budgets. I'd say below 500K is probably the lowest we would go for prime real estate or new builds in London. Because new builds, yeah, London's just a fairly expensive place when other investors come over here, but it's because the supply is so scarce. You can see how small London is. So
Yeah.
to get some real estate here, it's always going to be a good investment opportunity.
Yeah, I was looking up the some of the market trends that I'd seen by JP Morgan. There were, it's like it's some crazy number. The properties have appreciated over like 70% since 2008. So, can you explain a little bit about that, the recent market trends? What do you guys see going on in London?
Yeah, so I mean, there's always going to be capital appreciation possible when there's good market environments, good market conditions. But when there's high interest rates, inflation, unfortunate circumstances or events breaking out, this can impact the market. Where we're based in London, we're in a good position because there's a lot of unstable markets, a bit more, shaky or volatile economies that are looking to invest in safer places like London. And London, America, sometimes Dubai, they can be the top picks that people are looking for these foreign investments. Um, Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, so market trends. So
Yeah,
about market trends, when it comes to new builds, I would say that is definitely a market trend at the moment. There's a lot of people that are currently renting in, lovely, luxurious apartments, and they get used to that new build feel, that new build experience, having everything on your doorstep, not having to worry about, certain maintenance things, and also living in more efficient apartments, essentially. So that's where a lot of these people that are looking to escape the renting cycle, they just want a new build. They don't want to deal with traditional houses. They just want to get into something that's been brand new, newly developed. They're the first owner. And with these new developments, it's not just about you living in an apartment. It's about the lifestyle. It's about everything that comes with it. So you have, all the amenities you need. You have supermarkets on your doorstep. You have a doctor's just down the road. You have transportation. You can get from, all the different zones in London quite conveniently. So I'd say it's the convenience that people really like. And with the younger generation, we've seen all the crypto billionaires and stuff
yeah.
like that. They're pumping their money into these new builds because this is what they like. It's more than living somewhere. It's a lifestyle. It's what people like. So there's a big
Of
demand at
course,
the
of
moment.
course. Living in the big city, no, and obviously everything is so convenient. It's one of the financial hubs in Europe, so why not live in central London? Yes, it's expensive, but
Yeah.
it's like here, New York City. It's expensive for a reason. There's a lot of job opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities in general. So, no, I understand. Now, in regards to appreciation, what sort of appreciation have you guys seen like over the past few years? Maybe after COVID, if you have any insight
I
on
would
that.
say, yeah, I've seen a 3 bedroom new build in Greenwich, which is a nice area in London. I've seen them on the market, a 3 bed apartment about 1,000 square feet going for 650,000
Wow.
during the pandemic. And now to get a 3 bed in the same area by the same developer in that same area is now 1 million, or yeah,
Really?
about 950 upwards. Yeah. So you can see that's a tremendous increase just in that period. So I'd say there's definitely a lot of opportunities to capitalize over here, but it's about doing your research. You need to work with the trusted people, make sure that you're scouting the areas. Is it near good transportation? Is it an area that has a lot of remote workers or commuters or people that need to be in those financial hubs? You just need to understand the market, understand who your target audience is and what you're looking to do. How are you trying to treat this investment? Is it for yourself? Is it to rent out? What are you looking for? So those are the things we try and help clients with, and understand their needs. Are they looking for capital appreciation, or are they looking for better yields? Because we can get them great yields with no capital appreciation, or vice versa, or both. So it
Hmm.
it depends where you're looking to invest and what your budget is.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's similarly over here. So in the coastal areas in the United States, you can always see appreciation, and the cash flow is probably not going to be there. But if you move to the Midwest, you're not going to see as much appreciation, but you are going to see properties that cash flow. Obviously, with the interest rates, again, that's a worldwide issue. With the high interest rates, it may be impacted a little bit, but no, that makes complete sense. Now, in what type of people are looking for these new builds? Obviously, I know you talked about a little bit about the younger generation, but in terms of like foreign investors, do you see any foreign investment coming in order to buy
Yeah,
those new
loads.
builds?
Yeah, there's loads. Because as mentioned, there's a lot of people that are looking for safer places to store their wealth. So
Mm,
investing in property is, like investing in gold. It's a safe asset, and a safe place to be is London, and it's a safe market. So we've had a lot of clients, let's say from Turkey, where the currency, it could be devaluing, it can be up and down, it's quite volatile. So those type of clients are coming over to London and saying, look, we need to put our money somewhere. What would be the best opportunities? What are the yields looking like? As long as it's not depreciating, then
yeah.
they're happy with it. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of different foreign investors. Recently in Hong Kong, they eased up on some of the tax laws, so it was a bit easier for people to invest in London. There's people popping up everywhere, and especially with everything that's going on, there's opportunities just everywhere.
No, definitely. And I remember a few months ago, you had mentioned that a lot of new development is happening in London. Can you talk about that? Because I actually went around 5 years ago and there wasn't, I mean, there's new development, but at the time it was more of keeping the same architecture in London. But I know you had mentioned to me that within the past few years now, a lot more like skyscrapers are being built for these apartments. And you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mean, London's quite a cultural place. England is. We've got the traditional townhouses that people are, they're beautiful, they're luxurious, they scream elegance. So
Yeah.
those are the traditional builds that people really. There's a big market over here, especially the super prime when you're looking in Mayfair, in Marylebone, in those type of areas. But then there's also been a need for these newer apartments where people don't have to worry about certain things. There's no ground rents. People are looking for a more convenient lifestyle, as I mentioned earlier. They want to have everything on their doorstep. They don't
Mm.
really. I mean, since the pandemic, a lot of people have realized that okay, running around from A to B to Z, it just doesn't make sense. If I can have everything in one place, it betters their lifestyle. It makes everything a lot more easier.
Yeah, of course. Now you were talking about ground rents. Can you explain a little bit what that is?
Yeah, so ground rents are, you have service charges and ground rents for new builds normally, but ground rents have actually been scrapped. It's essentially you just have to pay for the lands that you own each year.
Okay.
But they've actually been scrapped with quite a few of the newer builds. There's something called peppercorn, which is a different type of, uh, it's just offset basically the ground rent where the landlord has to pay instead. So that's made it a bit easier for people looking to purchase properties in London because they don't have to worry about the ground rents. They just need to worry
Mm.
about their service charge and the actual property.
In regards to your team, right? How does it work in regards to helping you representing a buyer? Because over here in the United States, especially, well, every state has different laws, but here in New York and across the entire country, you need to be licensed. You need to be a licensed real estate salesperson, right? Now, in England, is it like that? Because I know there's countries in Europe that you don't necessarily need to be licensed, and
Yeah,
other
you
parts
don't
of the
have to
world.
be licensed. Yeah, you don't have to be licensed over here. Essentially, if you can sell, you can sell. So,
Of course.
yeah, it's all about what is the client looking for, find out their needs, and then service them. So you don't necessarily need to be serviced, but you need to make sure that you're working for a credible source. All the contracts are in place, and you've got these relationship with all your partners. So it's not so much about being licensed for the individual. It's more about, do you have the network? Do you have the right people in the right place when you need them to sell a property?
And I think that's the main thing, that you have to have the expertise and you have to genuinely care about your client's needs. Because yes, here in the United States you need a license, but it's literally just an exam. It applies.
Yeah,
You still have to know your stuff. You still have to know how to talk to people, how to service them. It's the exact same thing, you know. But
yeah,
but Isaiah or Izzy, I think I like Izzy better. um,
yeah. Surprised.
in, in regards to investment, like foreign investors, do investors necessarily need to be like a resident in the country? Do you need to
No.
have a bank account? How does it work if I'm an investor here in the United States and I want to invest in England?
Well, I would say firstly, you want to work with trusted professionals. So get the right people
Mhm.
in the right place. So if you need help looking for a property, we're right here. And
Yes.
you need to make sure that you've got, let's say, solicitors and mortgage advisors to understand your affordability, solicitors to help with any AML, because for foreign investment, we need to make sure, there's proof of funds, where the money's come from and stuff like that. So everyone needs to do their due diligence checks. So clients, if they're investing from America, they can use their trusted partners, people that, if this is if they do multiple property purchases, they probably have solicitors in place already and mortgage advisors if needed. But if not, we're more than happy to help with that. We have trusted partners in the UK that would be able to service any clients.
So, an investor's first step, what would it be? Obviously, get in contact with Izzy, right? But like, what would be the next step that
I would
an
say
investor would have to do?
so. Understand your budget, understand your affordability. Before you get into the market, understand what you can truly afford to spend, because you don't want to waste your time looking at properties that don't fit within your budget and you're just going off what you think would work. And then from there, once you understand your budget, you want to work with a trusted professional, real estate agent, or you can even work with your local realtors, because they'll be able to refer you. Like me and yourself, we're going to be referring clients back and forth because we're trusted professionals. We trust each other's work, and we know kind of how people like to be serviced. So you want to work with similar individuals, and then from there, once you understand um, where you're looking to invest, who you're looking to invest with, what's your affordability, you then want to do some market research, see, is that the right area to invest in at the right time, get that expert advice, work with estate agents, because say, for example, how we work at Longgrad is we we have clients that we work with, but we tell them the pros and cons of each development we take them to, if there are any cons, because we look out for the client's best interest. We are not like developers where they may, they've only got one thing to sell. They're just going to force
Hmm.
feed it down your throat. We don't take that approach, and we can't take that approach. We need to make sure we listen to the client, listen to exactly what they need, and then try and pinpoint, the suitable developments based on that. So I would say, yeah, it's a gradual process. Just make sure you're working with the right trusted people. Get the expert advice you need, and do your due diligence.
So when it comes time to introduce the banks, is there, obviously for investment, is there like a minimum down payment that they have to, put down for an investment
Yeah,
there in
so
London, in
so
England?
normally payment terms in the UK for new builds, depending on the property price, I would say if it's a property below 1 million, then it's normally a £2,000 reservation fee. Now, what that does is it reserves the apartment, takes it off the market, and you have the intentions to buy it. So no one else can view that apartment, no one else can purchase it. It's under your reservation. Within 21 days, 3 to 4 weeks, let's say, you're expected to exchange contracts, which legally binds you to that property, and a 10% payment would be expected. So it'd be a 10% deposit of the property price, and then the remainder normally is due upon completion. So 90% minus reservation fee would be expected upon completion. So
Okay.
we have clients that are buying, off plan properties right now. So they might have reserved a unit last month, paid the 10% deposit, and then the property might not be expected to complete until 2026. So they've still got even more time to save, get funds ready. And in that time that it's actually, coming to completion and is still under construction, it pays to be early. So if you're one of the early investors into the early stages of a new development, so you're investing in the first phase, that's normally the cheapest prices that it will be. And then
Okay.
each phase that's released later, they go up in price. So there's been there's been situations where people have invested, bought or reserved a property, paid the 10%, and then as it edges closer to completion, the property price has already gone up. It's gone up quite a
Of
bit.
course.
So people just sell their stake and on to the next. So there's
You
there's
can
many different
s-
opportunities.
so you can sell the stake even though you don't have the apartment like bought. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there are cases that it can happen, but normally it would be the whole property value.
Okay.
Um, Someone would just come in and we get switched over.
Wow, that's amazing. It's so in regards to that initial, what was the initial payment that to reserve the apartment?
So for property below £1 million, I'd say it's normally £2,000. Anything above £1 million, let's say 1 to 5 million or 1 to 3, can be about £5,000 to reserve the actual unit. And then 10% would be expected of the property price within 21 days.
Wow. Okay. So that initial payment to reserve the apartment, is that only for new builds or is that in general? Let's say it's a home that's already
For new
built, it's a
builds.
resale.
Yeah, it would be for new builds, because you can't reserve the resale. But what you can do is, yeah, it would just be for new builds.
Correct, correct. Got it, got it. And in regards to regular resale, so you just have to sign contracts, then put the money on contract, I assume, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Now, let me ask you in regards to areas in London. Now, where are you seeing the most? Well, first off, where are the most expensive areas now for people to invest? Because there might be
Uh,
questions on prime real estate. Where are the most expensive areas? And then we could, segue off of that.
yeah, I would say Marylebone, Mayfair, Kensington, Belgravia. Those tend to be the hot topics in London. That's where you're going to find super prime, really expensive properties that are, it's a stable economy, it's a stable environment there. Um, it's yeah, it's the best.
Now, what are typically some of these townhomes or apartments going for in those areas?
So in Marylebone, one beds can start from about £2 million for a new build. For a two bed, you're looking around, let's say, 4 mil upwards, 5 mil. And then for three beds, you're looking at 8 million plus. Four beds are about 16 million. So those are kind of the brackets within Marylebone and Mayfair that you can expect to see. That's quite a lot of money, and that's the price for the Zone One prime, super prime real estate.
That's how it is. That's how it is. Now, where are you seeing a lot of new development is going toward? Is there any
I would,
specific areas?
because London is fairly tight as it is. There's things popping up everywhere. In London, we normally go by zones. So I'd say within zones 1 to 4, um, it is property prices are just going up, and there's a lot of new builds popping up, a lot of new developments, a lot of regeneration plans. Now some of these regeneration plans can take to 20 years. So if you do that market research and you find a nice new development that is currently going through a regeneration plan, then you can expect some capital appreciation down the line. Once that regeneration is complete, the area is going to be better. There's going to be better schools. It's going to be well connected. The area as a whole is going to grow, so your property is going to grow in value. So that's
So
what
how
I
do you?
say to clients. Sorry, what was that?
No, go ahead. No. So in regards to the regeneration plans, now how do you guys? Is that like public knowledge? Is that only certain people know where?
Some of it is, but not much of it is available. I would say it would be just fairly general details. But where we're networking with a lot of the local authorities, a lot of the developers, a lot of people giving planning permissions, we we have that intel as to which areas are going to appreciate, which areas are going through these regeneration plans, which areas are bringing new stations to the area. There's a lot of different things that a lot of different variables essentially. But yeah, it's all from our sources, our partners.
Where are you seeing a lot of investors are going toward? Which parts of the city?
It depends on budget. It really depends on budget, but everyone wants to be in Marylebone, Mayfair, and Kensington. Until, of
Mm.
course, you start explaining certain prices and they realize, okay, it may be unrealistic, but don't get me wrong, there are some opportunities. So we've just had a new development pop up in Belgravia, and two beds are coming in they're starting from about 1.2 million. Now, if you
Wow.
walk about 5 minutes away from this development, there's another huge development, amazing development. Two beds there are starting from 4 to 5 mil. So you can kind of see, even though it's only 5 minutes away from each other, the prices can vary quite drastically. But it depends on the developer. So the one that I just mentioned that is starting at 1.2 million, they're working with the local government and they're trying to bring in more affordable housing into the area. So
Of course.
these are things to bear in mind as well if you're investing. Some investors don't like to invest in new build properties, which have a lot of allocation to affordable housing and shared ownership and stuff like that, because these are different schemes, and they may not see it as a better or best investment. A lot of people just want private sales, completely private building, essentially.
Wow. Now, is there any sort of like zoning laws or any laws that investors should be wary of when they're thinking of investing in London or in England in general?
For that question, I would definitely say you need to speak to a trusted professional. It's because each case is different, and I can't just give a general answer.
No, of
It
course.
purely depends on the person's circumstances. Everyone is completely different, so it is really hard to say. But yeah, we've got the trusted people in place, and they should seek advice from their local professionals as well, just to make sure everything's perfectly fine. But we've had many foreign investors over here in London.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, any other tips that you suggest for investors thinking of investing over there
Yeah, I'd
in
say
London?
think about your strategies. Think about why you're looking to invest. What's the core purpose? Why are you doing it? Are you looking for capital appreciation? Are you looking for high yields? Are you looking for just to have um, another property in London? Are you trying to expand your portfolio? What is it you're looking for? So really think about that. Think about your affordability. So speak with the right people, speak to those trusted professionals, make sure you iron out all the creases, because it's a 7.5 hour flight to London. So I'm sure you don't want to
Yeah.
get here and realize that it might not be suitable. So
Yeah.
speak with professionals, seek advice, make sure that you iron out all the creases, and then go from there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, tell the audience how can they reach you? Is the Instagram, however it may be.
Well, to reach me, I would say you can always speak to Kevin. He'll be able to refer. But you can always email me. I'm available, isaiah@longrad.com. So that's ISAIAH at longrad.com, LONGRAD.com. Um, I'll also pass on my UK mobile number to Kev. Yep, there we go. That's the
There it
right
is.
email. Um, but yeah, we're happy to speak to anyone, help anyone whenever possible. Um, Also available on WhatsApp, so that might be a bit easier for people as well. But yeah,
Okay. So basically, if you guys want to get in contact with Izzy and his team in Longrad in London, I'm just dropping the Instagram out down right here in the actual video, so you guys can feel free to contact them, contact Isaiah, get in contact with me, and I can more than happy give you his mobile number so you guys can talk better. So again, it was a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for your insight. Thank you for taking time out of your long day. And my friend, we'll definitely be in touch. And this is going to be the first of many.
not a problem at all. Thank you, Kev. And I just want to say it's excellent seeing you on the screen, seeing what you're doing. Honestly, it's definitely lighting a firework. So yeah, amazing, man.
Beautiful, beautiful. So it was a pleasure, and see you guys later. Follow us at Real Estate Investing WW. That's our Instagram handle. And any questions, just feel free to DM. Okay, have a good one, guys.